Hi guys. So for the brew, managed to rest my ankle a little bit. Just done a little short video on why I've been absent for about a week due to I sprained my ankle in the Peak District. I was hiking, so brewed up and then having something to eat, which today is what's called this the pot noodle club. It's sweet and sour pot noodle. Not in all every video I'm going to be doing like pot noodles and stuff like that. I actually want to do some cooking as well. And try my new stove out, cook maybe a few steaks, a few burgers, some veggies, and just to give you a whole experience of the outdoors really. So yeah, I was thinking what video I could do, and obviously when I've done this small video, I'm going to do a little small video of a knife, survival knife that you either love, a bit like Marmite, you either love it or hate it. It's a knife that I've owned before and I used for probably over a year, but this one is slightly different. It's been modified. Modifications on it is just a lot better than it originally was. In fact, I do believe that they should have done the modifications on it originally when it came out the factory, which obviously I'll go into and show you after this video. So obviously the last short video I explained to you about my ankle, why I've not been making videos lately. It's quite nice. Nothing beats eating out the outdoors, honestly. I mean, you can be sat at home and you can be eating a pot noodle. Maybe there's nothing in your fridge or your shelves, I don't know. I don't know how often you do your shopping, but you know, a nice day like this, it doesn't have to be glamorous, just grab a pot noodle and come out. But while I've got you, before I do my next video on the knife that I want to explain to you about, I'm not going to show you how to use a knife and things like that. I will just give you a few specs, details on it, and maybe make a tent peg or something like that just to show its capabilities. I'm not going to do any chopping on it today because there's quite a few people out today, like dog walkers and things like that, and obviously this wood is not my own. I've got no permission to be in this woodland, and I don't want to draw attention to these woods, thinking what's that madman doing with a knife in the woods chopping trees down. So I don't want to draw any attention to myself today, so I'm just going to go over a few specs of this knife. But before I do that, I basically want to discuss about, well, I'm on the subject about woods and camping and things in general. I like to lead. I live by a policy which many bushcrafters and wild campers do the same. I mean, real bushcrafters and wild campers, which is the policy of leave no trace, otherwise known, short abbreviation term of LNT, leave no trace. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to minimize the damage that we cause in woods, especially if you plan on having a fire. Now, unless the woods belong to you or you've got permission to be there and do the things that you're going to do in the world of bushcraft and wild camping, maybe it be your permission to cut down some trees or maybe make a fire, we can minimize the damage. You don't necessarily, I think I made a video like this before, you don't need to cut down live trees. It's not necessary. If you look around me in this wood, there's plenty of resources. There's hundreds of resources. There's hundreds of twigs, logs, trees that's already been felled down or the wind's blown it down. So we don't need. We're not here to harm nature. We are not here to harm nature. Okay, so let's get that perfectly straight. Okay, there's a lot of people that gives people like me a bad name, saying we leave rubbish, we leave scorched ground, we chop trees down, we set fire to trees, and all kinds of stuff. That's not us. That to me is not a proper bushcrafter. Is not certainly not a proper wild camper. We don't do these things. Never have done. Never will do. So we try to minimise what we do here. So we're here to relax, be a part of nature, do a bit of bushcraft, or teach a bit of bushcraft if you like, enhance our skill set. We don't work against nature. Never work against nature. We just work with it. Okay? We're not here to harm trees, chop them down and burn or anything like that. And it's what gives people like us a bad name. Is people that leave like scorched ground, fires that's sometimes is still smoking. I've seen it all. Been in a lot of woods over the years, and it's just horrendous. People leaving rubbish. More common is actually them barbecue things that you can buy in the supermarket, and they're just scattered everywhere. And it's just, for me, it's just being bone idle. It really is. And I think if you come out here and respect nature and work alongside nature, don't leave any trace. Don't leave any live fires. Put the fires out or deal with it accordingly. And all this will be covered in my future videos. How to set up camp, how to minimise damage, how to make a wildfire that's not going to do any damage. If you absolutely need to have a wildfire and the wood doesn't belong to you and you've got no permission to be there, then by all means, have a wildfire, but keep it off the ground. I can't stress you how much damage it really does, to the ground by having wildfires. And a lot of the time, when I used to wild camp in the past, I just used to use a stove. I used to bring a stove with me. I used to do my cooking with a stove and use it as a primary heat source as well. Now, obviously, granted, during the winter months, you're probably more inclined to have a wildfire, a wild campfire. But be smart about it. Learn how to set it up properly. Learn how to minimise damage, so that you don't walk into a wood and there's, the fire's still burning. It's still smoking. It's still hot. It's the whole entire area is scorched. You've got trees that's been scorched. That's not what we do, guys. It really isn't. I know I'm waffling, but I'm just trying to give you you beginners and novices, which is what this channel is for, is just to give you an insight to what we actually do. And if that means starting from the very, very, very basics on fire safety, where it's going to be minimal damage, and knife safety, etc., then that's what this channel's about. So yeah, again, in future videos I will be doing wild campfires. I will be showing you how to do it properly, in all different weathers as well, not just like, say, spring it's on its way, so not just like summer or spring, but it's going to be winter camps, winter fire, which takes a bit more preparation. But yeah, I just want to try and sneak that in there. We're not here to damage nature. Let's get that clear. Otherwise, you're never going to gain permission on people's woodlands or people's lands, because there's far too many people that's just not doing it correctly. Setting fire to things, and that's why we can't get permission. That's why wild camping is not as common as it once were. A few decades ago. Probably because of that reason. But yeah, so I'm going to stop waffling on now, I'm going to eat my dinner, and then my next video is going to be